Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have Erika joining me. Hi, Erika.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, everybody.
It's been so long since we've done a video together. Guys, if you look back in like maybe 2 years ago videos, we did so many great videos together. But we are back with another really awesome video, how to get rid of the third party. I know I manifested a third party and got rid of them. So we're going to share a little bit of our stories as well as how you can do that yourself in your reality. And anything can be a third party. It could be an extra person. It could be just that they go out and spend time with their friends, or their work could be a third party. So, you can apply this to any situation where, there's something that's getting in the way of the relationship that you desire. And just before we dive into it, guys, guess what? Erika's having a sale on her coaching. She's been here a long time. She's one of the first coaches that started the channel with me here. So guys, it's a really excellent sale. So definitely check out the link in the description below. She's going to help you find out what your blocks are and give you some really excellent intentions, as well as me and Erika both have courses. So my course is how to, create the relationship that you love. And Erika, what's your course?
How to manifest a new specific person, because a lot of people want their ex back, right? But there's a lot of people that just want a brand new relationship. So
exactly. And I did what Erika says in her video to manifest my specific person, Andrew. So yeah, it definitely works. So I 100% recommend it if you are looking for someone new. And guys, you know what? If you are trying to manifest somebody and you're getting frustrated and you're thinking about switching and finding somebody new, it's never a failure. It's always a choice. So, don't, and if you do want to keep trying to manifest the same person, then go ahead. It's your choice, and don't let anyone judge you for what you choose to do. I mean, it's pretty obvious. At one point, I gave up on someone I was manifesting and I manifested someone new, Andrew. And then I'm going to be honest, it wasn't all a walk in the park. There was quite a struggle there because I brought my baggage with me to the new relationship. But either way, whatever you choose to do, it's always, your choice, and you're allowed to. It's your life, one life to live, no regrets, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I also got rid of third parties. I also manifested my specific person back. I also created a new specific person. So we've done it all, right? We know how to do it.
Exactly. So yeah,
so,
let's dive into this.
Yeah, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and I created a little short talking about it, but I want to talk more about it, is you need to stop calling them my ex. Because if you're still calling them your ex, that means that comes from your thoughts, right? And your thoughts are powerful. Your words also create, and you're still assuming that they're not with you. You're still putting them in that little box of he's not with me or she is not with me. So instead of calling them my ex, call them whatever it is that you want. Call them by their name. Call them my sweetie, my lovely, my honey, my whatever it is you want, but stop calling them your ex, right? Super important.
Exactly. They're never your ex, right? So, yeah, exactly. Never your ex. Actually, a little tip about, so I created a third party sort of with Andrew. So, and it really depends on how you create these third parties, but I'll let you know how I did it. And so I remember when the first night that we were dating, of course, we're talking about past relationships, and it came up, and he said, yeah, you know what, I've been dating this lady on and off, and the relationship just doesn't work out. And we get together, we break up, we get together, we break up. And so I was like, okay. And then it was about maybe 6 months into us dating and seeing each other regularly. And then all of a sudden one day, I don't know what happened. I just something was triggered in me, and I was like, oh, what happens if his ex-girlfriend calls him and he goes back to her, because I know they were on and off. And then then I thought that, and I didn't change that thought. And then we went out for dinner that night, and we were at the dinner table at this restaurant, and he looks at me and he's like, yeah, so my ex-girlfriend called me today. And I was like, oh my goodness. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, say you didn't answer. And then all of a sudden he's like, but I didn't answer. And then I was thinking, because you didn't want to be with her, because you don't want to, he's like, because I just don't want to go back there again. He's like, she's an ex for a reason. And I was like, oh, good save, Amanda. But it's so important, because every single one of your thoughts is going out to everybody in the world. Everyone is you pushed out, and it's constantly reflecting back, right? So, even if you create it, you can always undo it. Or like I did, I stopped it in the moment. Like that conversation could have gone one of two ways, depending on what my thoughts were doing in that moment,
Exactly. Yeah, I also manifested a third party. And one thing that I was doing, I was always comparing myself to other people, to other girls, meaning I was assuming I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not chosen, right? And that's what I manifested. In fact, one of my relationships, I was dating this guy, right? The relationship was amazing. I trusted him completely, but I still had this assumption that I cannot trust other girls. Guess what happened? He broke up with me, right? Because she stole him. She even said those words. I think he asked her, like, oh, why do you no, she asked him, why do you like me? And he's like, because you stole me. There it is. I manifested the other girls that I don't trust, that I compare myself to them stealing my boyfriend. So it was based on my self-concept of not good enough, not chosen. So the work that I had to do was, no, I am more than good enough. I am always chosen. I don't have competition. I am everyone else's competition. Who wouldn't want to date me? The person that I want chooses me, commits to me, period. And that's the work we have to do, right?
Exactly. And if you guys noticed, right, we've had two very different stories of how we created the third party. Mine, I've always had the story that I'm a great girlfriend. I've never had a self-concept issue within relationships. I've had self-concept issues in other areas of my life, but in my relationships, I'm a great girlfriend. And I don't understand why you wouldn't want to be with me kind of attitude, right? But me, I created it by worrying about this other person and thinking maybe he wants to be back with him. And then Erika actually had a different creation of her third party, came from her self-concept of not feeling good enough. So it really depends on how you actually created the third party. So like, for instance, right, let's say like, my say Jerry disrespects me. Okay. But I want him to respect me. So if Jerry disrespects me and I'm like, oh, Jerry's so disrespectful to me. And then I say, I intend for Jerry to love me. That's actually not, Jerry's going to love you, but be disrespectful.
Exactly.
So you've got to get to the root of how you created the third party. That's where coaching comes in. That's what we do. We help you find your blocks. We help you we get in your head to try to figure out your thoughts. And this is the reason why we don't do coaching over like YouTube comments and stuff, is because we need to know what you're thinking. We need to know the thought process that created your current reality, because we need to help you come up with new ways to think and new intentions to change that reality. Because, the blanket intentions that somebody can give me may not work for me, because those were never the opposite of the negative thoughts that I had. I knew I was good enough. So me saying I'm good enough and I'm always chosen wasn't going to change the fact that I was worried about them two getting back together. I have to say, no, Andrew wants to be with me. That was my solution, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we do as coaches. We go deep, we ask questions, right? We analyze, okay, what it is that you have been manifested in previous relationships. I love to see that pattern. When you see a pattern, no one to change but self, right? So what is it that I'm thinking that I continue manifesting in relationship after relationship after relationship? So if I'm seeing a pattern, what I have to do is change what I'm thinking of myself. But I think it's also super important. What am I thinking about the other person, or relationship in general, or men in general, or women in general, right? We have to go deep and find the block.
We did. And Erika's totally right? So what's your story about yourself, right? What's your story about the other person, right? What's your story about relationships in general? A third party can easily be created by saying, I'm never lucky in love. Well, how does that have to play out? It has to play out in some way for you to go, wow, I'm unlucky. And so our manifestations will show up in the 3D in various, from various thoughts that we have. There's only so many outcomes that you can have in a relationship. They break up with you, they marry you, they get a third party, they grow old with you. So there's only so many options that are there, but we have a ton of different thoughts, right?
Exactly. And also super important, if you have a third party in your reality, it's because you were creating it, right? So again, just analyze, how do you think you manifested it? Or we're here to help you find the root of why there is a third party in your reality. But just the same way that you created that third party, you can get rid of them.
Yeah. And if you'd like to do the work yourself, because you can, and we always talk about it on this channel, is you really want to get honest with your thoughts. I know a lot of people don't want to think about their negative thoughts that they have. No, I'm not going to think it, but you need to think of them and acknowledge them and recognize them just long enough to create some new thoughts. Okay. Because it's so incredibly important. It's like, okay, really get serious with yourself and write out that list of all your complaints and doubts. Like, really, what thoughts are you having? Be honest with yourself, dump them out. And when you dump them out one by one, cross them out and create a new thought. It's usually the opposite of what's showing up, because, maybe it's, yeah, pretty much the opposite of what's showing up, to a point, you know what I mean? So if someone's disrespecting you, you want them to respect you. If they're not choosing you, you want them to choose you, right? So, and focus on that new list of intentions, because that's going to be your key. They're key to melt your blocks. Those are your opportunities, right?
Exactly. And you know what? I think I realized that a lot of this, patterns of thinking or fears or whatever, they come from childhood. In my situation, I know very well that the reason why I was comparing myself to other females is because my mom used to tell me, why are you not like the neighbor? She has straight A's. Or why are you not like your cousins? They go to church. Or so, right? I was comparing myself to other girls, saying I'm not good enough because my mom thinks that they're better. So she doesn't think I'm good enough. So that's where mine was coming from.
Right, exactly. And all we need to do is to recognize them. And of course, you know what, we can create new blocks along the way. Like, every single thought that we have is either going to allow us to have what we want, or it's going to block us from having what we want. So we really have to be on our mental diets and really listen to ourselves and take time to actually think and go, wait, do I really want to create that? So I was talking with someone today and they said something, and immediately I had this whisper of a thought of something I didn't want. And I was like, whoa, hold on. I'm like, I went back and the person was still talking, and I thought, no. And then I made my intention. And then I actually had to say to the person I was talking to, I'm like, sorry, I didn't hear that last bit. Like, I was having another conversation, but that conversation was really important to have in that moment. You know what I mean? Because I had thought my thought pattern, right? So, I think, with third parties, if we're looking on social media, right, it's like, okay, we're questioning who's that. So either make a good story up of who it is, like it's their sister, it's their friend, and really have that strong mental diet to not think it's another a third party, or stay off of social media altogether if you're not strong enough, or at least their social media, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I used to do that. I used to go on social media and be like, who are you following and why are you commenting? And it was horrible. I mean, it was horrible. What do you think I created? A lot of bad things in that relationship. So my recommendation is, if you know that going on social media triggers you, right, stop doing it.
Exactly.
And work on that self-concept, right?
Exactly. Because if you work on it enough, and you work on your thoughts enough, then you're not going to be triggered by things. Okay. So, like, for instance, I'm really secure in my belief of how amazing I am. And I'm also secure in my belief about how much Andrew likes me, which is where my downfall was, to almost create a third party, was worrying if he liked, what he felt about me, right? I knew I was great, but did he know I was great? Did he see that greatness? Was my sort of thing. But now, I could go on into any social media and I'm not shaken, because no matter who he's got a picture with, because I know he wants to be with me. So, you want to get yourself to that point, create evidence, create evidence that the person is you pushed out, by getting them to change your profile picture, by getting them to, to post things or to send you things, and not things that you have resistance to. Okay. Let's not go with, okay, they're just going to like say that they love me and miss me. If you have that thought and it gives you anxiety, then you're probably not there yet. And it's probably not going to show up. So start with little things, that you're comfortable with, that don't really mean anything, to start seeing the movement with the other person. Because once you go, oh, they're me pushed out, and you're convinced of that, then you have a really solid foundation and a solid belief that you can start on those bigger things. But if you go straight to, okay, that's it, we broke up, we had a huge fight, he's going to say he loves me and misses me, yet I've created a third party, and then it doesn't happen, we're just setting ourselves up for disappointment. But if you believe that he's going to do that, then great. But if you don't believe it, then start with building the belief that he's even you pushed out, or she's even you pushed out to begin with, right?
Exactly. Now, something else that I wanted to talk about, when we're getting rid of that third party, right? A lot of people they're thinking or assuming or affirming for the third party to just leave, break up with my specific person, or they're not interested, or they met someone else and they moved to China, whatever assumption, right? But if you are still assuming that my specific person doesn't want me, is not attracted to me, he's not choosing me, well, the third party is going to walk away, but you're still not with your specific person. So again, self-concept. I am someone that always gets the commitment that I want. I am chosen. I am loved, right? That self-concept is super important. Instead of just getting rid of the third party, but you still assume that, you're not chosen, loved, committed to, and maybe you're also assuming that your specific person is not interested in you, doesn't want commitment. So important, right?
Well, exactly, and it's thoughts are things and thoughts are independent things. And when we create, a thought, like for instance, my money story. So I was intending to find money on the ground, like cash, right? But I just said I intend to find money, but I kind of wanted to find cash. I don't think of finding anything other than cash. But the thing is though, is I have a story that nobody carries cash anymore. It's all plastic. So what happened is I actually found a gift card for a grocery store on the ground. And I just happened to see it there and I picked it up because I was like, odd. And I don't normally pick up stuff off the ground, but it looked new. It was like right beside a parking stall. So it wasn't like, I wasn't like diving in the garbage for it or anything. And I was like, and nobody was in the parking lot because it was like a Saturday and it was at the bank. And I was like, huh. And so I picked it up and then I checked it and sure enough, there was $200 on it. So our thoughts have to navigate through what our previous thoughts and beliefs are. And again, that's really, really important. It's not just working on just one part of the story. There's three aspects here. Our beliefs about relationships, our beliefs about the other person, our thoughts about the other person, and about ourselves, our self-concept. You may need to work on all three. You may only need to work on one. You may need to work on two. It all depends on what your main thoughts are, because you can say, like me, I absolutely love myself, but I doubt if Andrew likes me. And then maybe he's going, and right there, okay, so me saying I love myself wasn't going to change anything because that wasn't the problem. I'm like, I'm the best girlfriend ever. Who wouldn't want to be with me? Why would he? You know what I mean? But I created that doubt in that I had about him, the story about him. Maybe, I'm not as tight. Maybe he wants to go back to his ex-girlfriend. So, okay, go. That's it, enough right there. No, he wants to be with me. Right.
Exactly.
Me saying I love myself and questioning whether he wants to be with me, saying I love myself isn't going to fix that. I need to say that he loves me, right?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And then I wanted to talk about how important that self-concept is. So, for example, I had a third party and I did not even know that I had a third party because I was broken up with my now specific person, with my boyfriend. So what I was doing was just pure self-concept. So some of my affirmations that I was doing was, I am irresistible. So what do you think he was thinking, right? If he was reflecting that back to me, he couldn't resist me. I was also affirming, I am irreplaceable. What do you think he was reflecting back to me? He couldn't replace me with anybody else. Another one is when I will think of him is, I am the love of his life and he knows it.
Yeah.
And also I affirm, there's no one else better than me because I am irreplaceable. So I will do this continuously, right? And then we were broken up. He came back. And then I found out that I had a third party. So I got rid of the third party because I was just purely working on myself and this powerful affirmations. So yeah, self-concept is super important. Sometimes you don't even have to affirm for them. But when you're really working on that self-concept, right? They have to reflect that back to you. But yeah, it's super important. What am I thinking of the other person? Because when I was affirming that, I was not thinking, yeah, but he doesn't want me. He's not interested. No, I was like, yeah, I am so irreplaceable. That's why he is thinking of me and wants me back. He wants to commit to me because no one compares to me. I'm the love of his life and he knows it, right? So I was self-concept together with what he was thinking and feeling about me. And it was always positive. And that's how he came back. And then he came back with apologies when I used to have an assumption that this man never apologizes for anything. I didn't affirm for the apologies, Amanda. He just, I'm so sorry and please give me another chance, right? I was like,
I remember that. I remember that. I remember. Guys, this is a true story. I remember this when it happened.
So if I can do it, you can do it too. But yeah, I think self-concept is super, super important. And what is it that I'm thinking about the other person?
Exactly. I think, you've nailed it. Mostly it's going to be the two together, right? The two together.
Yep.
So, and it never hurts to create that you're good enough. It never hurts to create these great, self-concept affirmations. Like it never hurts, but, I love that combination. It's definitely what probably most people need to do and need to look at, right?
Exactly, because I could have said, okay, I'm irreplaceable, right? And maybe other people will reflect back to me that I was irreplaceable. But if I was still thinking, oh, he doesn't care, he's not interested, he will continue over there, not wanting to be with me. But I tie them together.
Exactly. Such great information we have here. Amazing. Guys, this is great. I hope all of you guys got something out of this today. Sorry if I'm stumbling on my words a little bit. We have the grandchildren here for 4 days and I am exhausted. I don't know how anyone does it. Yes, I'm a grandma, if nobody knew that. And
you're a glamour because you're gorgeous, you're young, and
yes, I'm a glamour right now with enough luggage to go to Hawaii under my eyes, I'm sure.
You look gorgeous as always. Come on.
Thank you. And so do you. And so do all you guys out there. I look at the YouTube comments and I see all your guys' little thumbnail pictures, and some of you guys are just absolutely stunning. And, and it's so neat to see that, I still am in awe that everybody out there is real people. It's because I just talked to a camera. So
I know, gorgeous people out there. So yeah, get rid of that third party.
Exactly. Erika, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome, Amanda. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I missed you.
You too. I know it's been a long time. And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And remember, all you guys are perfect, and each and every one of you guys can have exactly what you want. And we'll see you in the next video.
Exactly.
Bye-bye.
Bye.